No.
So let me project a few notes here. I think can help us to see what we did. Yeah, so just a reminder of what we have done. This leadership, I think now this is the third time we are looking at it. I think it's the first area we continued with after the COVID thing in May. And those who attended the class, we were able to go through a few things regarding leadership. So we might not look at so much, but what we need to remember are some of the definition of leadership. Another is looking at relationship between leadership and management. You also need to remember those relationships. And then we also need to the relationships, yeah. Then we need to distinguish between our power and leadership. That power and what is the relation between power and leadership? And there are certain sources of power which we need to remember. The sources of power are essential. So you need to remember we have legitimate power. This is based on someone's exercising influence because of a role, a position, like the position of a president, the position of a CS, the position of a Speaker of the National Assembly, the position of the Vice Chancellor. They exercise that authority because of position. When it comes to reward power, is a power that comes because of one ability to give goodies, there's someone who has got the power to reward, power to promote, power to give gifts, They get their power based on their ability to dish out favors. That is what is called reward power. And many have it, have used it a lot. And you find sometimes leaders in organizations try to use the reward power, the ability to give out promotion or withhold it, and gives them power over employees. When it comes to coercive power, is that one that uses the whip. They will that that influence, ability to punish, to dish out threats, punishment, reprimand, like withholding goodies, demotion, that is meant to coerce people to act in a certain way. So you have that as well. And expert power comes because of one's ability to, or knowledge or expertise in an area. Like, for example, if you are dealing with a surgeon or a heart surgeon or a neurosurgeon, that person is powerful in that area, even if you are the president and demands that take out your clothes, lie on that bed, and be operated on. The president will not refuse because he's at the mercies of the expert power, that somebody who has got a skill that is unique to themselves that allow them to practice a certain trade. So however much somebody would be strong or has authority, if they don't have expert power in an area, they are vulnerable to somebody who possesses the same. And then referent power, because you need to remember that this is where leaders exert influence because of reputation they have. And somebody who identifies with that particular leader tends to also want to exercise such kind of power, because they will tell you that, do you know that I'm a friend to the CEO? Do you know last week we were taking dinner together? Somebody will tell you that we were sitting on the same table with the president. So you feel that somebody is trying to use referent power to show you that they are well connected and that they can be able to, they have an influence, where, because most of us try to, oh, you have been to the US embassy and interacted with the US ambassador to Kenya. Oh, you have been to the State House. Oh, you have met this and so and so. Mm-hmm. So that is how we use referent power. So remember those sources of power and how they are important in leadership. These approaches to leadership, we had already looked at them, behavioral, trait, and such like, and contingency approaches. They are also known as the theories of leadership. We also looked at path goal theories of leadership and the path goal theory of leadership, the major styles related to path goal theories. You need to remember those major styles. There are 4 styles: directive, supportive, participative, and achievement oriented. This is just Hello. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to fix power on the laptop and suddenly went off. Um, Let me try to project uh, the styles I was talking about. Now, I was saying that you need to remember these styles of leadership. Uh, these are the styles under the path goal theory of leadership, starting from directive, supportive, participative, and achievement oriented. As you can realize, it comes from where there's too much control and distrust to subordinates, and where the subordinates are allowed to express themselves, be innovative, and perform to the best of their ability. So you need to remember those four. They are quite essential and important in understanding leadership. Now, I don't want us to dwell here because we had already covered it a little bit more thoroughly. I want us to just take a look at briefly I want us to take a look briefly, just briefly, leadership styles and remember exactly what we had mentioned, because I think we did cover this. We covered this quite thoroughly. And unless you have any question, there are major styles that we had identified. There are major styles that we had identified. And those styles are quite key. That is, one is the authoritarian style of leadership. Of these styles, what you need to remember is what are some of the benefits associated with these kinds of styles, and what are some of the disadvantages, and under what circumstances are these styles applicable. So you need to remember those main styles. So authoritarian or autocratic style, we can be able to look at them. And then also look at democratic or participative style of leadership and the laissez-faire styles of leadership. Now, when it comes to leadership styles, for example, there are several authors that have identified different type of styles. Before we proceed, I want to show you. We normally use this in the organization behavior or studying of organization behavior, where there are many leadership styles that have been identified from different authors. Like there's one known as managerial grid. There's one known as managerial grid leadership style. And let me just project it so that you are able to take a look at it. So in a moment, I'm gonna predict those styles, project. Now, the leadership styles that I want to show you are listed here. Let me grow it. The leadership styles that I wanted to show you are these ones. These are different authors came up with various styles of leadership that can actually be applied by various leaders across managing and running organizations. As you can see, the first one was the first, especially the ones that we have been studying a lot, were actually designed by University of Iowa Leadership Studies. The ones that came up with those three major styles: authoritarian, democratic, and laissez-faire. We've studied a lot about these ones, and we looked at when they are applicable, what are some of the advantages and disadvantages of those styles of leadership. Then we have the second one, known as the Likert system approach to leadership. I'll show you what that is. A managerial grid. This one also included this in the notes that we had taken. We had given you. I uploaded them on the portal. Then we have directive and participative leadership. Now, this is where path goal theory of leadership also comes from. Then we have charismatic leadership and transactional leadership or the transformational leadership. So all these styles are there. So you'll find them in literature. You'll find them in literature here and there for your you'll find them in various literatures here and there. So I'm saying all these styles are there. You can be able to use them. I think I'll be able to extract them and post them also so that you can be able to refer to them when need be. So what we had already talked about as authoritarian autocratic style of leadership, right here, this is some of the roles that these such leaders do play. So the key thing that you need to remember are what are those roles that the autocratic leader does? What are some of the responsibilities? And what are some of their expectations? They demand compliance, they exercise close supervision, they use a lot of force and threats and coercion. While democratic style of leadership in organization, they tend to focus on groups and permit people to take initiative and judgment, and they motivate employees and want them to achieve their best, and mostly they aspire towards two-way communication. The laissez-faire, of course, the one that let things drift, as we had already mentioned earlier, and I think I shared with you some of the advantages and disadvantages of laissez-faire leadership style. Now, so remember those key styles and how important they are. Now, we have also mentioned to you the Likert system approach. Likert system approach identifies 4 leadership styles. Likert system approach has got these 4 systems, and they are systems that work like the path goal theory of leadership, whereby it starts from the controlling, the coercive, the authoritarian type, and then to participative and achievement-oriented leadership style. So the first 4 is exploitative to authoritative. That is a leader who uses those kind of tactics. They are highly production-oriented leader, but they don't trust the subordinates. They believe that these people have to be directed, they have to be threatened with fear, with punishment for them to work. So they exercise the autocratic styles of leadership. Then we have the benevolent and authoritative. They try to be fatherly in a way, but still exercise a lot of authority. So the key thing that one needs to remember is that they tend to sometimes extract or get or solicit for ideas from subordinates, and may even want to use those ideas. But full credit always go back to that leader. So there's close supervision. There's some permission for people to seek advice from the top, upward communication. In most authoritarian leadership, communication always from up downwards. So they rarely allow down-up communication. So for benevolent leader, allow some of that. So then we have the third style. The third style is a consultative leader. What? The third style is a consultative leader. Consultative leader is one that exercises or displays or shows confidence on the subordinates, and at times they usually look for and even use the ideas of these leaders. At times they motivate them by giving them rewards, and at times can punish as well, and permits both up and down communication. So you find such leaders in organization. Then we have the participative. This looks like the typical democratic leader, the one that creates an environment of mutual trust and support, where both leader and the subordinates work together for a common good. So in most cases, participative leader is more or less like democratic leader. Now, the managerial grid, this one you have in your notes, is the largest style of leadership, where it has got several classes of leaders. We have impoverished manager. This one puts they put minimum effort to get work done. They show little concern for people or production. Now, this impoverished manager is neither concerned about work nor people. It's very much like the laissez-faire fellow, the person who allows things to drift, who is not concerned. So, according to managerial grid leadership style, this is one type of a leader who does not care about production and does not care about the people. In this grid, there is also another type of leaders called the country club manager. And the country club manager, just like what we normally know about country clubs, is where people socialize, people get happy, do things in the buddy style. That is friendship, we are buddies, we are good friends, we do things, we don't step on each other's toe. So the country club leader is much more concerned about the employees. He's thoughtful about the needs of people. He cares about them. But the problem, he doesn't think a lot about productivity. These are the guys who will tell you that the work is always there to be done. You need to understand the welfare of the people, that work will always be there. What remains could be done tomorrow. So the focus is on the happiness and of employees rather than concern about the work. Then we have authority and also obedient manager. Now this one is the other way around to the country club manager. His focus is on the work, ensuring that everything is done effectively and efficiently. That is, they tend to show much more concern regarding the work than the people. They are much more concerned about the work. Their interest is all the tasks completed, all the operations are flowing the way they are supposed to. Everything is done, no matter what the employees feel. So they tend to use threats and coercion, punishment, and withdrawing of rewards. They exercise close supervision. This is the authoritarian style of a leader that is much more focused on production but not employees' welfare. So already we have seen the impoverished manager who is not concerned about employees, not concerned about the work. We have seen the country club manager is concerned about employees but less concerned about the work. We have seen the authoritarian, obedient manager is much more focused on the work and not on the people. Then now we have the middle of the road manager, middle of the road. Now this one balances both emphasis on production as well as employees, meaning he focuses on work-life balance, that production is given what is due to it, employees' needs are also given what is due to it. So it is about creating an optimal performance so that every work does not suffer, people do not feel oppressed. That is the middle of the road manager. It means that it ensures that what is best is done to ensure satisfaction, to ensure that things do not go out of the way or things do not drift out of control. Such a manager at times may involve people in decision making and at times uses their contributions or their ideas. Then we have a very important one, the last one, the team manager. Team manager is actually the one that today is many organizations try to adopt. because of the realization that you need to look at your employees as a team, as people, as talent that can contribute positively to the organization. So it places maximum emphasis on production and maximum emphasis on the people. You need to be able to get the best of benefits and best of experience and best of or to maximize their achievement as far as work is concerned. The same times that employees give their best as far as production is concerned. So this is somebody who will ensure that their resources for production are there. Everything that is needed to make the organization thrive will be there. So he'll bring in the resources, focus on the welfare of the employees to the maximum. And they tend to integrate individual and groups with organization needs objectives. In other words, marry the people's objectives and organization's objectives. So team manager has become the most effective way of leading team in management of organizing. Many companies are adopting this method because they realize that you look at your subordinates as a team players, like you look at team sport, for example. Winning teams tend to gel more. They tend to work together. They tend to have a coordinated approach and a similarity of objectives. The winning teams tend to have that. They are more cohesive. They are more focused. They understand each other. They understand every move. They can be able to predict the moves of every member, and that makes them successful. The same way organizations that are succeeding, they have been able to ensure that every player or every member understands the objectives. They are gelled together, that the ability, the strength of the firm is in a team effort. So I wanted you to remember these key areas because of the importance of them. The last one, the one that was saying directive versus participative, this is also another leadership style that you might meet, and it balances between the two extreme approaches, where there's controls and maximum control, and then focusing on maximum participation by subordinates. So you need to remember that. So those are the ones I wanted you to pick from. What these are mostly studied in organizational behavior because they are much more detailed. They are much more, but I needed to show them to you so that I think I'll extract this and upload it so that you are able to have it as well. What to do motivation, and I can see time is really flying away, but let's look at it in the next 20 minutes, something about motivation, especially those things that we had not covered, so that we are well to do. Right. Let me just wait. Now, in the motivation theories that we had mentioned, we had identified those key theories. let's just go straight to the theories. The major theories that we looked at were Maslow hierarchy of needs theory, we had looked at these theories: Maslow hierarchy of needs theory, Douglas McGregor theory X and Y, Hertzberg two-factor theory, Ed-alpha relatedness, expectancy relatedness, and growth theory. So these are the major theories we had looked at, or even maybe if we didn't look at them, but still we're going to look at them. We also looked at these ones. There's a chicken around here. So these theories are the ones that we are supposed to check out and be able to look at them. So those who were in that class, I thought somebody told me that we looked at McClelland achievement theory only, and then we didn't look at the others. But let's just take a look at them briefly so that we can see what they have to tell us. So starting with the McClelland. Now, McClelland achievement motivation theory is mainly focusing on need for achievement, need for power, and need for affiliation, and actually 5 elements. So there is need for power, need for achievement, need for affiliation. There's also need for security and need for status. So key aspects that you need to remember about McClelland theory is on these various categories: need for power, need for affiliation, need for achievement, need for security. What are the key issues, key characteristics that define that theory? So that's some of the things that you need to remember as far as this motivation McClelland theory is concerned. Now, according to McClelland, a person with high need for achievement tend to possess characteristics like this. A person with high need for achievement tend to have characteristics like be better than competitors or be highly competitive. That is, outdo those who compete with them. They want to be on top of the rest of the group. Secondly, they are moderately risk takers. Thirdly, they need immediate feedback. Once they have done something, they want to get the result immediately. They don't want to wait to know what happened. They want to get the result. Then they get satisfaction from accomplishment. That is, whenever they have done something, they feel that it should be necessary. They should get rewards accompanying that accomplishment. Now, their focus is mostly on the work. They tend to be totally preoccupied with the task that they are supposed to do. They don't leave work unfinished. They tend to focus on ensuring that the work is finished. they get totally committed. They believe surpassing difficult goals is supposed to be what motivates them. And they tend to take personal responsibility of the work they are doing. In most cases, you find that these people have that focus. So they need the thing that you need to remember, the fact that you need to remember is what drives the achievement-oriented leader. What are their drives? What motivates them? What are their characteristics? Someone who is achievement-oriented. Now, according to McClelland, there's some people who are power-driven. What are the characteristics of power-driven people? Need to influence others, need to take control, need to be in charge of others, need to vanquish opponents, need to possess authority. Now, what about those who want association or belonging, affiliation? These are people who want to be liked. People want to be accepted. People want to work with people who are friendly, They want to maintain harmony. They don't want to cause trouble. They're interested in maintaining harmony with the rest of the team and avoid trouble at all costs. They like social activities. Like when people are going for team building, people are going for an outing, when out of office, out of work scenario is they thrive a lot when people go for sports, anything that will take them away from daily routine is welcome. There are those who require security. They fund job security. They want to protect against loss of income. They require protection against illness and disability or physical harm or hazard or risk that can lead to failure or blame. They tend to avoid blame, so they are much more meticulous, much more careful. If you find those people who are very careful, whenever they are doing things, they don't want to take unnecessary risks, then you are referring to somebody who needs security. That is what drives them. That's what motivates them. If they are not very sure about a decision, you would rather avoid it than make a risky one, because it can lead to failure or it can lead to a blame game. So you find that people that there have never been a time that they were blamed. There's something that not even a single time were they. So you find that they, organization, they are absolutely blameless. Sometimes they are very careful about how they take their steps. Need for status. Now this is the people who want to be seen to have made it. So remember, these are much more related to those guys who are interested in the esteem needs, for example. They always want associations where will communicate a status in life. So they are much more concerned about the neighborhoods they live in, the clubs they attend, the cars they drive, the phone they have, the degree from a university, a specific maybe college, and what have you. So Maslow hierarchy of needs theory. This one we remember a lot. The key thing about this Maslow hierarchy of needs is get to know at each hierarchy, each level, what are the needs? Basic physiological safety or security, social or belongingness needs, esteem needs, and self-actualization. The key thing you need to know, what are the needs there and how can such needs be applied, especially in an organization scenario, for example. how are the basic needs of employees met so that's what I want you to remember. How are the basic needs of employees met in an organization? Remember we said that providing basic salary and a safe working condition and company's housing or a house allowance are major basic provisions or provision of basic needs in an organization. Safety needs, we talked about ensuring somebody has got a job contract. That is, they are sure that tomorrow there is work, to protect their income in the future, to take care of social security, to ensure that they are free from threat of sickness and disease. So give them medical cover and such, like retirement benefits and even secure environment. Yes, physical safety is important, and safety from injury and such like. Then we have the social needs. Social needs. People want to belong to. People want to belong to groups. They want to be related. You know, they want affection. They want acceptance. They want to be part of a friendship, part of teams. That's why organizations normally allow informal work group to develop friendship, joining clubs, societies, and social groups. At times, organizations encourage team building activities so that people can interact and socialize together. In that way, you find that the social needs are met. In life, in society, we belong to families, we belong to we have relatives, we have people we work together with, we have people we went to school with. So tend to belong somewhere. Every time people meet, first of all, the one thing that they would ask that, where do you belong? Where do you come from? They want to know. Here in Central, you come from Murang'a, Kiambu, Nyeri, where? People want to know where you belong. In other places, places that they ask, where do you belong? Oh, you from Nairobi, which estate? Huh? Do you have family? Do you have brothers? Do you have sisters? Do you have parents? Belonging, very important. Which school did you go to? Which university? Which college? Where do you work? You know, where do you work? What do you do? Are you in business, or what do you do? Because it's a belonging thing. It's affection, you know. Then ego or esteem needs. This is where we look for achievement or recognition, or we want to be associated with success, to be in position of exercising some level of authority. You find that we are much more concerned with reputation. Want to be associated with prestigious stuff, you know. So you find that many in the organization tend to aspire towards that level, whereby you can be trusted with responsibilities, promotion, job status, high status, you know, allocated an office, a job title, you know, getting to perform roles that are higher, growing in your career from one level to another, especially getting to a position where you can be provide supervisory roles, you know. So you need to remember that in organization, how do we deal with it? So esteem is much more of working towards massaging the egos of employees. Self-actualization needs, on the other hand, is the highest level in the hierarchy, and here individual needs realizes that they can achieve their best. They can be able to develop themselves to the highest level to achieve their fullest potential. Being satisfied, reaching a point where they have their destiny in their own hands. They have their destiny in their own hands. How do you provide self-actualization needs in organization to employees? Give teams challenging jobs. Allow them to use their creativity to the max. Give them opportunity to advance, opportunity to work on projects where they have fully satisfied, where they can realize application of their full knowledge. In most cases, for example, you find that someone reach a point where now they are given a free hand to work on a project, to apply their full knowledge and their full wisdom, and to be creative as far as it's concerned. Like those of us who are training to be chefs, for example, you reach a point where you are free to design. You are free to design menu. You design menu. You write recipes. You are able to. Your work can actually transform a facility in terms of give it a fine dining, there are, in fact, most outlets, eateries around the world, they are actually opened by chefs. They are not opened by business people. They are opened by chefs because it is their idea that runs that organization. It's their idea. The example of Caroline is coming up with a style of doing meals, for example, a specific cuisine, a specific cuisine that is a trademark to a particular restaurant, because patrons would flock that restaurant because of the cuisine that is in that particular place, the style, the expression, the presentation, the ambience, all that is normally creative ideas of a chef that comes up with it. The same way, for example, Ian, if you can talk about the highest level of a logistician, somebody who is in transport and logistics, somebody is in high level. Like, for example, if most of these international logistic firms, they started as business ideas from people. Somebody had a passion in that area, and then he said that I want to come up with a transport solution firm. Like, for example, this guy of Amazon, for example, who got into e-commerce, e-commerce work hand in hand with transport and logistics, because they have to move items from customers across the world to meet the needs of their customers. So they integrated e-commerce with transport and logistics. So you find that somebody just had an idea, how can I be distinctive? How can I be different in this industry? So every industry uh, has got what it takes to perform the activity there. But somebody might decide that I want to create something which is above the industry standards. And that is where we talk about somebody gets self-actualized. Somebody reached their maximum potential. They are able to, they are given a free hand to be creative. So that is so that they can achieve the highest fulfillment. Now, like you are in you're training to be a chef. Don't just look at, okay, you can start with being employed at a restaurant, at a facility, like let's say when COVID is eventually over, it will end. All pandemics normally come to an end. When by the time people resume fully, I believe you'll have finished your course and maybe you get a job at one of the top restaurants in the country or outside of Kenya. It's good, but also always don't just look at it as a way of earning salary. Let your focus be self-actualization, where you are able to come up with, your ideas can lead to creation of a restaurant that's something that has never been done before. Something that is new that will attract clients from all over, That's what most like. If you guys, I need you to look at documentaries across the world, especially in your specific area, maybe in management, in supply chain, in restaurants, hospitality industry. Hospitality industry, though it has been affected, but I need you to look at documentaries of the top destinations across the world. I'm talking to Caroline and Jensera. Top destinations across the world. Look at what they have. Like, there are destinations like Malibu, Mallorca, Marbella, these Mediterranean destinations and Caribbean destinations. Look at them, the attraction that is in or Hawaii, that is in the eastern, in the western part of the United States, and maybe the exotic destinations in the Indian Ocean islands and places. Find out how do they run their thing? How do they attract clients? How do they ensure that they get the best of the best to come to those places? The advantages, especially of those destinations around Mediterranean, is because they experience very beautiful summer, travel time, sun, and what have you. Even near Dubai, as the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, it has become a destination of its own uniqueness, Find out about how they handle things there. Look at what they do in Mauritius or in Maldives or in Seychelles, Find out what they do in those places. Check those things. Look at some of the cuisines. You can design yours. Don't just lock yourself within the local ones here, because your profession is a profession that is applicable across the world. Ian, your profession is a profession that has no borders, Are we together? Supply chain, transport, and logistics has no borders. You can say that this is something that is restricted to Kenya or to Nairobi. You can apply your trade across the world. Right now, while hospitality is suffering, transport and logistics is thriving, especially transportation of goods, things that are now being delivered because people are not able to get there to purchase them has increased. Companies that are in trying to move goods, they tend to be thriving because you now have to use courier system to deliver items where people are not able to get there. Anyway, let's look at Hatzberg theory. Hatzberg theory. Hatzberg theory. Now, what you need to remember about Maslow is what are the challenges, what are the problems with it, the theory. Need to remember the problem with the theory of hierarchy of needs theory. There's a problem with it, so much of a problem, especially because of the way it regards that needs are in hierarchy, that once you achieve a lower level needs, it's no longer become a motivator. Even the person at the top, they get hungry and they need food. They need the basic requirements. Well, the only thing is that now is not as driving because someone has already achieved it. But look at the challenges of the theory. I said we're going to look at Hatzberg theory. This one, McDonald's theory, is very simple. What you need to remember is the difference between the theory X and the theory Y. Theory X are regarded as lazy, they don't like work, they avoid responsibilities, they are less ambitious. Theory Y are regarded as they love work, that it's good, they see it as natural, that they have motivated, they are innovative, they take responsibility, they use their skill for the betterment of the organization. So you need to remember that. Now, hygiene theory, two-factor theory. It's called Hatzberg hygiene theory or two-factor theory. It consists of two factors because they are motivators and they are dissatisfiers. The two theories, the two factors are one factor is known as the hygiene factors. And these factors, they are considered dissatisfiers. Why are they considered dissatisfiers? Because they don't necessarily motivate people as such, but they are as necessary as hygiene. Hygiene. What like right now, since COVID, we have become used to washing of hands, and that's when you realize that washing of hands is tedious because you get to a building and then you are told you wash your hands. You realize that most people don't like washing hands. So it is good because it deals with the virus, but do you like it? Do we like it? Tell me, do we like washing hands? Every other, I went to that building, I washed hands. Now again, I'm coming here, I wash hand again. Then I get there, I again wash hands. Or I've just sanitized. Why should I wash my hands? I've just sanitized a few minutes ago. 2 minutes ago, I sanitized. Now you want me to wash my hands. Now, you see, but it's good for hygiene. It's good with dealing with the virus. But does it satisfy? That's now the thing. Now, motivators, on the other hand, are satisfiers. Why are they satisfiers? So Hatzberg identified these two factors in order to explain those activities, all those issues, all those factors in organizations that are very necessary, but they do not satisfy. And then you also identify those factors that are in the organization and they satisfy. Now let's look at the motivators or the satisfiers. Motivators or the satisfiers. He identified these key factors. One, achievement. That if you are able to undertake a responsibility, or you are able to undertake a task and perform it to the best, and it gives the best result, then you feel that you have achieved your objective. So that normally gives fulfillment or satisfaction. Recognition. When you have done something and then you are recognized, you are told, you are patted on the back and told, well done, commendation, or you get a reward. It's a satisfier or a motivator. The work itself, for example, if you are doing a job that you are pleased about, you are qualified for, you have trained, a job that is your passion, actually, it's satisfying. Responsibility. If you are put in charge or given responsibility that you like, put in charge or being recognized, satisfy. Then when you are able to grow from entry level to a higher level, it also satisfies a lot. Your advancements professionally, this is a satisfying thing. So those 5, we identify them as major satisfiers, and they tend to drive people to even work or to give their best. The satisfiers are the hygiene factors. So as I've said, they are necessary, but they don't necessarily satisfy. For example, policy, companies' policy. Companies' policy sometimes may be good, may be favoring the employees, but sometimes it may be stringent. Administration, they demand this, they demand that, they want this, they want that. Each and every time threatening memos, each and every time threatening communications. So as much as administration, they have employed one as a to be a member of that organization, but still you feel that it is necessary, but doesn't satisfy, because every communication from the HR or from the admin is always not a good communication, or is not always a favorable communication. Then interpersonal relationship, especially with management and employees. Sometimes the relationship may not necessarily be good. Supervision, like if you have a supervisor who is hard on the team, they tend to be a dissatisfied. Working conditions, sometimes you have a poor working condition that affect morale, and people tend to feel that the condition is not as such. So such are there, but they may not necessarily satisfy. Salary, the pay that one gets, can be a dissatisfier. Why? Because always the pay may not be enough to meet all your needs. Okay, I'm working, you get that paycheck, but when it comes, you just see the inadequacies of that pay. So you feel this pay is not even enough. You feel bad about it. That's why we say that it's necessary, but it doesn't satisfy. In fact, we just remember, oh, it's paid. Wow. Then you have spent it even before you got your hands on it. So you need to remember those key satisfiers and dissatisfiers. And but again, as we had looked at in hierarchy of needs, there is a problem with the Asperg factor theory. One thing is that the research was done with a group of professional employees, so it may not be applicable in and universally. Secondly, there are some aspects that are identified as dissatisfiers, like salary. There are people just working for the basic pay, and that is it. That makes them satisfied. So you find that there are aspects identified, either satisfiers or motivators, either hygiene or dissatisfier, that may not necessarily be what the theorist has suggested. So you need to remember those ones. Now, I know there are people who want to do the CAT. How many are going to do the CAT? Ian is definitely going to do the CAT. Jensera, are you going to do the CAT? Caroline, you are going for the CAT? Caroline, I thought you were going to do it. You told me you can redo it. Yeah, so for those who are going to do it, it's good. It's good if you want to go for it. It will open at 9:45, around about 20 minutes from now. So maybe if you want to check a few things before that, it's okay. It's okay. And those of us who remain here, we shall continue. And I believe you will be well and good. Now, why there are so many people asking me about the CAT, and now they are not here. Maybe you can talk to them on the WhatsApp group. Yes.
Sure. Majority of people do want to do the CAT, but due to fees issues, they are not able to log into ZDS. Like in our class, it's only me and Jensera who are able to log in.
Wow. Why can't they log in?
Because of fee issues.
Wow. But like, for example, in your class, there are so many people who have never even logged in. I wonder what's the problem. It's just amazing. The whole semester, if you check at the list, you realize that some never even logged in.
I'm not talking about those who have never logged in. I'm talking about those who have been attending the classes, but now they are unable to do so. Like Monica, Jennifer.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. You who are here, you can look at it. You can do it when it opens at 9:45. It's very simple. I'll just open it and then you can do it. But for now, I think we're gonna proceed. Now, I just want to let's look at Yeah, let's. So what I wanted to say about this theory is just find out about some of the difficulties of this theory. The next theory, is that like expectancy, relatedness, and growth is mostly related to Artsberg and Maslow theories. Expectancy is related to Artsberg and Maslow theories. So you also need to, I think I'll post them for you to check on them. Vroom theory, we did it in HR. And it's also straightforward and has got only a few issues that needs to be looked into. Then we have Stacey Adams. Stacey Adams looked at two categories and look at inputs and outputs that people put in effort, training, education, experience, loyalty into work, and then they get salary and other benefits as output. So Stacey Adams was looking at those two categories. So what we input into work in return to what we get. So the outcome should be equal to the input should be equal to output. In other words, we give our training, our commitment, our dedication, our sacrifices to our job, and then we get the salary, we get the fringe benefits, we get other benefits out of the job. So depending on what we put in, we'll be able to receive back. So it's like sowing and reaping, you know, you sow this and you get that. If one sows bountifully, that is in plenty, they'll reap in plenty. Then we have a theory known as the goal-setting theory. Because goal-setting theory is where one sets goals. This is more related to management by objective, whereby people set goals, and it's the goals that drive them towards achieving a specific work accomplishment. So if you want people to be able to be directed towards a certain, to achieve a certain work performance, then allow them to set goals. So how do we set goals? There are principles that are important. One principle that we have known for a long time is using the SMART criteria. Set goal. For example, making sure those goals are specific and clearly defined goals, which give one direction. Then those goals, of course, requires to be measurable. You need parameters that allow you to measure those goals. Another principle of goal setting is coming up with performance targets which are challenging. You know, you set goals that are challenging. Avoid easy or things that are routine. Those ones do not actually motivate. The ones that are difficult, challenging, tend to motivate. Then another thing, goals should be reachable. That is what we call achievable, and not so difficult, not so frustrating. It means that with your ability, you are able to achieve them. So in other words, goals should be realistic, to set realistic goals. Then for a goal setting to be right, then there should be a feedback. There should be an outcome. How do you measure the outcome? That's the measurability of goals. There need to be a feedback after you performed a role. It must give you a feedback. It must give you opportunity to know what the outcome. So those are very important. Of course, it has to be achievable. And the performer of the work must be able to accept the goal. So when you set objectives, then set that objective knowing that the person who's going to perform it or going to do the activity will accept and even own the goal. Are we together? Good. So those are the main aspects of motivation that you need to remember. You need to remember those aspects. We say that management by objective is one of the ways of setting goals. And we had looked at that area quite thoroughly. So those are motivation. Are we together? I'll post these notes for you on the portal so that you can be able to refer to them anytime. Are we together? Good. Now, unless there is no question, those who wish to remain in the class, I'll add quizzes on topic 6. I'll also add questions from past papers on those quizzes so that we can be able to interact. Maybe perhaps you want to share something. Let me give you something to interact with before you go for the cut. Jen Sarah, you said no to the cut, okay? So, Ian, Alice is here. Alice, did you do the cut? Alice, did you sit for the first cut? Let me give you a question to chew on here. Yes, this is a question here to chew on. I'm putting it on the portal. You can discuss the same on the public chat there. Remember the trait theory of leadership? One we discussed the other time. So there it goes. Highlight for criticism that may be used against the application of trait theory of leadership. So you can discuss that, you can do your contribution, and you can even unmute and talk to one another, Good, it's good. I believe, Ian, you have never spoken to Alice for a long time. Yes. So she won that one. Let me put it also on the Big Six so that I project the same. So the questions are here for you to, which you want to discuss and to do them. And The rest of the questions I'll put on the portal for you to, so later on you can check from the portal. Questions need your review, need your revision. So there you are. You can do a discussion of the questions as you put your answers on the public chat, or you can discuss with one, unmute and do a discussion. This is the only way you can connect. To connect and do a discussion for those who are not going to sit for the cat.
Mwalimu, where is the cat? I can't see the cat.
The cat is in the very beginning, just before topic 1. Go to before topic 1.
Oh, I've seen it.
Yeah. Get there, you'll find it.
How many questions are there?
When you preview, you'll see. Just preview and you'll show you the questions. 7 questions,
Hello, Natian. Hello, Ali. Hello, Natian. Alice. Sorry, Aki nafanya cut. Oh, nafanya cut. Pole.
Hello. Morning, Karo.
Morning.
Oh, nimemaliza kazi.
Niko karibu. Aya, tuko
Eh?
watu watatu. Watu walishaenda.
Oh, teacher amesema tufanye nini?
Tisha amesema tufanye hizo maswali to discuss.
Oh, umezifanya?
Si pia mimi nafanya cut.
Oh, unafanya kazi? Bado hujamaliza?
Ndio niko last question.
Sawa.
Wewe ziliendanga wapi?
Sasa zilishanga. Blue, green, iona. Yeah. Ukumbuke tulikuwa salvation tukitishwa tishu wengine walikuwa wanakuja na tishu za blue.
Mimi nilikuwa nikiangalia primary ati mnaambiwa mpeleke tishu kila mtu anatumia hapo. Sasa unapata mwingine analeta zingine ina affect hata wazazi zingine ananiambia watoa tishu mbaya. Alafu mwalimu anachagua zile nzuri.
Leo walipata mpeleka. Sasa wewe mwenyewe unaweza sahau uende kwa tumbo.
Wengine wanaogopa kila saa kutoka kutisha. Unajua kuna walimu na wewe unakunia sana. Unaelewa kuna walimu wanakuanga hivyo. Umekuja shule kukunia kila saa umepata.
Kwani uendangi choko kwani?
Sasa unapata hadi watu watakucheka juu wewe unashindanga ukinini tishu. Kazi ngumu ni kununua sikuuza, si ndio? Alafu sasa kuuza. Ian. Watu walisha.
Hello.
Aha, ongea sasa.
Oh, ninajaribu kuandika hizo answers zenye mwalimu ameweka. Hizo question
Oh,
ameweka hapo.
question. Amepatia answer kwani?
Hiyo yenye amepost hapo kwa public chat.
You highlight for criticism. Bado ndo the same question unaona kwa inaitwa review question.
Gani hiyo?
Unaona kenye iko kwa
Hiyo.
yako. Hiyo ndo the same.
Yeah.
Hii kati ya leo ilikuwa easier than ya last yenye tulifanya, herivo kuifanya.
Kwani ya last time ilikuwa na questions gani?
Sijui ilikuwa ya hizi organization like hizi za mwisho za culture hizo.
Oh.
Na hizo kuna venye zinibambangi hizo maswali. So umepata answer number 1 ni nini?
It predicts the behavior. Critics argue that situation variables are more effective.
Sikusikia.
Nasema hiyo trait approach ina involve ku predict the behavior of a leader, where critics argue some other form of variables are more effective, like situation variable, like kumtest yani vizuri, si like kuobserve tu hivi. Situation kama kuangalia needs, basic needs zake hivi hizo hivyo.
Okay. Trait approach inamaanishanga identifying and study the attributes. So hii theory iko based on kenye unaona
Yes, sasa kwa criticism ndio nasema hivyo.
Criticism yako unasema ni?
Sasa venye na predict hivyo behavior au wanaitangwa ni scientist kama ni nini, wanasema wanasema hiyo si effective. Wanasema a more effective test ni kuangalia situation, the condition ya the leader
na nikam kurealize kwa notes tulifanya ya behavior na ingine trait, hata kufanya situation. like tuliandika but hatujaipitia.
Tuliachia hapo kwa behavior. University of Iowa. Ndio I think ameweka notes hapo.
The situation maybe kuandika hapa but kwa notes hatakuwa tuliachia tu hapo kwa behavior. Hii yenye tulisema ya university hapo tu.
Alisema ataweka kwa topic 7. Bado hajaweka.
Ataweka tu. So ya kwanza ni it's like criticism. Yeah, si wote wana following.
Wana agree nayo.
Wana agree nayo. It's much better kuangalia situation than trait.
Yes.
Hiyo ni criticism kwanza. Ya pili?
Sasa wewe nipatie ya pili.
Okay. Tajaribu. Kuna kwanga na hii nini? Hii criticism yenye na kwanga yote haikosangi. Najaribu kukumbuka. Like unaona kwa theory zote kuna kuwa na criticism moja inakuanga common kwa zote. Like hata inafaa kuwa your number 1. Hata niangalie kwa like zote theory zote nilikamingi kurealize. I think inakuanga it focuses on okay. Kuna mali niliandika. It assumes that people yote unaandika it assumes that people nendanga like zote.
It assumes that people lakini inakuja kwa trait approach kweli.
Exactly, ina nini? Kwani leadership si watu like ina following zote.
Ina assume needs zao.
No, kwani traits ya needs ni ina assume like appearance zao ama how they nini themselves, like ina assume kila leader like in order trait mwenye alikaa chini akatumia hiyo theory ali assume kila mtu like every leader he's a leader because anaonyesha some different traits, ndio? So it assumes that every employee follows the same trait ama kitu kama hiyo, but lazima useme it assumes.
Hiyo ni kweli. Inaangalia like one side of
ina assume kila mtu ako hivyo, but in order for you to become a good leader, it doesn't like yes trait ina matter like how vitu nafanya, but that's not the only thing that shows you are a good leader ama you are a bad leader. Bota ni Google. Nikupatie answers mbio. By the way, ulipatanga bundles ama si ndio ulikuwa unatetanga?
Nilipata, walitumia.
Inasema Google, one of the major criticism of trait theory is its simplicity approach, that it fails to take account of other factors that will influence the development of a successful leader, e.g. situational and environmental factors. That's why nilikuwa nakwambia unafaa useme it assumes. Umesikia Kenya nimesema?
Nimesikia, but sasa sio ni answer yangu. Nimesema.
Like tunapata just 1 point. Watania, si limitation bado ndio criticism. Another limitation is that they require personal observation or subjective self-reports to measure. Like it only focuses on personal observation or self-reports to measure. Another
Alafu
point.
hujamalizia,
Mm-hmm.
unafaa useme like it focus on personal observation where
Mm-hmm.
a leader may act that they possess a certain skill. They may act like they possess a certain skill, but in reality they don't.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That's a very good point. Acha niziandike. Mm. Wacha hata nitie Shiro nimwambie tuna discuss.
Sawa, muite.
Ita Alice ama yeye hauna namba yake?
Acha nimpigie.
Kama sisi atawasumbua na kumwambia saa 4:30 hivi. Wewe ndio mwenye ulikuwa unamwambia jana kama ni yangu ni yangu. Wewe ndio mwenye alikuwa ananiambia mbadha amke saa 12. Oh. Nyumba? Wapi? Rescos. Ah. Inakaa ndio sasa saa 12 ya asubuhi ndio mnafaa muone. Hai, we.
Ndio ya mwisho. Mkasakuna mbili kaangalia ni yako, si utapata tu yako mwingine kuja tunaambia amka before aje angeenda kazi na amka.
Kwani wewe ndio uko na haja ama ni yeye?
Ndio saa 6 ukuje tu na nini kuleta.
Nyumba hizi zenye zilijengwa mpya. Mkiangukia kwa mko mbele. But kitu ya maana ni unaangalia maji. Choo. Unaweza pata choo ni unakuni usiku kwa plastic bag. Na pia bei.
Nilimwambia tu anajafutiana sije muona tena. Ni shule wanina hapo ndio. Ama ndio labda ndio anakula kinyamaza.
Ama alikuwa kina Nora.
Wakati alienda. Alienda Yanga. Na ndio alipotea wiki labda jana. Sheni arofa nyakati. Niliambiwa na mama yako kujia. Mwambie nitatia namba akishughulika.
Utasikia nilisahau, lakini we mwambie kujie kitu. Hata miaka 10.
Kaisahau. Matokeo yake alipanga shirika. Na sisi ilikuwa mpya hajui mtoto anja kwanza na chukua ya ushikao basi ndio kuchana ndio tunaye tukarawa bangi kana nango lisana kushika tatie tuto vingine ndio mpaka
Nikam mama Karasi alikuwa amenipatia nguo za scout. Akaniambia Juvai sulete tu.
kuongeza mali zilikuwa za mimi zangu nikimpatia shida ile kama naishi kwa ndani na kuna bara ndani
Chana.
tunashangaa kwa nini kuniandanganyanga mali ya maisha mambo yangu anaona sina saa hiyo mtu na umeteseka na wewe
Mamake akakupigia? Nilikuwa tu umepigia kazi. Ni juu alikuwa amesit kuanzia 7:20 sijui 7:25 10:45. Ni kama hebu hata niangalie, si tuko tu ndani ina Ian wamesema wanashindwa kuingia kwa sababu inasema
wacha niwatumie niushie link.
Conference imeisha.
Wacha niwatumie link waingie. Hebu try kuwashare link. Huh? Kuski? Una break.
Nasema I'll have to leave the conference kwa sababu class next inaanza saa 5.
Hata mimi kuna kuingia.
Sasa juu before hata waingie juu hata nani inaitwa je Jensera anasema inakata namtumia link.
Hello, how are you? How is it?
Yes, we are fine.
Yeah, did you manage to discuss the questions? Huh?
We just managed to do the cuts and the first question.
You are doing the cards, okay?
Yes.
Right. I think we should end, but I'll put some of those questions on a quiz portal for your revision, right? All right.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll put this one plus others, which I will also add there. And so you both did the cut.
Yes.
Caroline
Yes.
and the, right. That's good. So we meet next time. So I'll try as much as possible to post questions or per topic, and also I'll be putting some past papers. The past papers I'll place them at the front just before topic 1 so that you can easily access them. But topical questions you'll find in each topic, there'll be questions, and those questions will be in form of quizzes. So if you want to access them, you'll access them through the quizzes on each topic. Right. Is there any question before we end this conference? Any more question? Right. So I've uploaded the notes on leadership styles. That's additional notes. I'm also going to upload notes on motivation and all the theories of motivation, all in the topic 6. All are in topic 6. So notes on motivation and notes on leadership styles.